Hi everyone, Fun Size here with Bib Brave Benjamin. Um, Finally chiming in for the new year. I figured most people have set and broken their resolutions already. So I would wait and come at you a few weeks into the year, not with resolutions, but with motivations. So I don't really like resolutions. Resolute kind of means, you're unwavering and determined. And it feels very black and white. And I think a lot of people fail, if you will, at their resolutions because it kind of feels like they don't account for the day to day. They don't account for things that you can't predict. Whereas for me, motivation is your willingness to behave in a certain way, your purpose and your willingness. So I feel like thinking of goals more in terms of motivations is more kind. I think it's more a self-care thing. So, and maybe it's a nuance that y'all don't think you agree with, but whatever. For me, that's how I look at it. It's a kind way of looking at goals. And so when people have excuses to break their very black and white resolutions, my thing about excuses is turn your excuses into reasons. So turn your excuses into motivations. So last year was hard for a lot of reasons, personal stuff, school stuff. Some of it was external, some of it I realized was my own doing, just kind of an attitude thing. Letting stress, letting, the unknown kind of get to me and feel like I had no control. And I think it made me feel like I couldn't move forward. And so I was feeling like mental block because of that. And by the end of the year, I kind of just pulled myself up and figured there wasn't anything I could do about things external in my life, but I could change personal things. I could change how I approached my relationships, my fitness, my health, and particularly big one is my approach to school and my PhD program. And so I kind of really put my head down. I did a huge chunk, what for me felt like a big chunk of my kind of first few chapters draft of my dissertation before we went to Hawaii at the end of the year. Hashtag tough life. And it just kind of made me feel like, oh, I had made progress in something. And then when I came into 2020, I realized, okay, I need to keep that motivation. I need to keep that energy. And one of the things I really needed help with was I'm not in classes anymore. I don't have like a structured schedule. I don't have to be any one place, which sounds great. And it is to a degree, but it's also really hard to do self-motivated research when you don't have a schedule. So people kind of question, how many activities I do outside of school, like how I have time. And I care less about how much time and more about that's what gives me energy and what gives me structure. So I'd rather work out like a crazy person, 2+ hours a day or whatever, because I have energy and then have motivation to kind of sit down and do stuff during the day after I do that. So, I knew I needed it for that reason. Plus, just feeling kind of plateaued. I felt like I needed a change to what I was doing with my activity and fitness. And the one thing that I really kind of avoided for a long time is strength training. We can all agree I've got the cardio and endurance down, running, cycling, over and over and over and over. I got it. We're good. But I felt like in terms of my overall body composition, nutrition, my power to weight ratio, I wasn't getting returns. I'm doing all this work and I wasn't getting returns. And poking around, doing a lot of research, especially for women who are my age and particularly getting closer to 40 and over, strength training was the one thing that really kept popping up. Is like, you need to do this. And so finally, I was like, well, winter's a great time to join a gym because when you're getting up and trying to go out on a run at 6 a.m. in the winter when it's cold and rainy, it's really easy to kind of roll over and not do that. But when you've got a gym class with other people that's kind of structured for an hour and it's inside, I felt like I could probably commit to that. So I finally joined a CrossFit gym. I know it sounds scary. That's in our neighborhood, so really close. I'd seen them working out pretty often and was curious about it for a long time. I went over there, talked to them. They just before the new year, and they were the coolest, kindest, most welcoming people. So I was like, cool, take my money, sign me up, I'm game. And the other cool thing was in January, like right when I was about to join, they also have a nutrition challenge. So they were doing kind of a Whole30 nutrition plus you get points for doing workouts. You get more points if you do workouts at their gym. You get points for sleeping 8 hours, doing stretching or some other activity, healthy activity on your body, all these things. And then they were going to do measurements before and measurements after, and all those things get kind of rolled together in points, and the winner gets a trip to the Bahamas, which I thought was a pretty good motivation. I mean, for me, it's actually kind of secondary. I'm more motivated for myself, like how it's going to make me feel, and the after effects that will hopefully impact kind of my cycling and running. My kind of two big races this year, I did sign up again for the Yeti 100 with the goal this year to go sub 24 hours, which is kind of like an extra gold star in the ultra world. And FYI, I did 28 hours, the first and only time I've done it. And I feel like I can do it. I certainly have the pace to do it. I just really felt like my kind of body composition was one thing that was really holding me back, and just like strength training, which for me, the strength training is what has already started training my body to do work on tired muscles, which I think is what will help. I mean, it's my hypothesis. We're going to see something different than the last time I trained for it. Kind of help keep a consistent pace for that amount of time as the muscles start really tiring out. So we'll see. And then I'm also running the New York City Marathon after that. So those are kind of my two big things for the year. And besides the fact that I'm trying in the next couple of months, just a few months, to finish my dissertation and graduate. It sounds like a lot, but again, for me, just 3 weeks in, this gym thing has really helped me, I think, physically and mentally, because I've been getting up every day, 5 a.m. to get to the 6 a.m. class. I go to the class, I feel great, I feel strong, my core is awesome, my arms are awesome, like everything is awesome, and I have so much energy from it too. So then I come back, I shower, and I like kind of feel like, oh, here's how I start my day. And I've been quite, very productive, which is really kind of what I needed. So yes, it sounds like a lot, but for me, I'm getting a lot more bang for my buck on the back end, both physically, but also professionally, because it's kind of getting me to be in like this very structured daily schedule, which is really what I need to get through the next few months. And so that's kind of what I'm doing right now. And it's, like I said, it's going great. I feel really great. I kind of understand why CrossFit people think it's a cult, because it's pretty addictive, especially when you join a gym that's like not scary. The people are super sweet, really nice. A lot of really strong, awesome women, which I think, which helps. I never thought that was a big deal to me, but the more I kind of sit back and look at the groups that I've belonged to, the more I realize that having motivated, strong women around me actually does matter. So I've really appreciated that. And so that's my plan going forward. Those are my motivations and how I'm kind of approaching them. So chime in if what your motivations are and how you're keeping motivated. All right. Bye.